Spartans! What is your profession?
All right, so we're back again. A couple of things I forgot to mention. Get yourself a timer. These little guys are useful in all kinds of ways. I picked this up at the dollar store. Cheap as all can be. This particular mold material, the Rebound 25, it's got a pot life of 20 minutes and a cure time of 6 hours. Thing is, it does become solid enough to do a second coat within about an hour to 45 minutes. And so you can be on top of it. Timer. Great way to... All right, moving right along. Now, there was another thing I forgot to mention is if you do have extra mold material when you're doing your gel coat, it's always good to use it. The registration keys are very useful for glove molds to sort of bond the, or well, tie in the inner mold, the sheath or glove mold to your outer harder shell. The registration keys keeps the mold from moving around, especially if it's a thin layered mold, and keeps it from collapsing or moving around, as I said. Now, this is just some resin plastic. Made some plasticine shapes and then poured some, I think it was, anyways, it was 65D resin plastic on it. But anything will do. What you need is something that the resin, because it's hard, rigid, you don't need a really thick coating of it, and that the plasticine or clay or whatever you use to make the piece that you pour the resin on is easy to come out and easy to clean, and that, well, the silicone won't adhere to the resin plastic. So these things are great. You make one and they last forever. Now you can make these little circular nubs, these little, but you'll glue these in certain areas where there will be the worst wobble or flexing of the inner mold. You use this to stabilize and when you put the shell on, that'll grab onto that and keep it from moving around. Easy to make. I got two sizes. Use the smaller one to make these, and you can cut them down and shape them the way you want. I don't always use this circular shape. I just take my X-Acto and cut them down and make more of a rectangular shape sometimes, just so it'll fit in with the mold shape. This guy is ready to go for his second coat. Now, sometimes I'll skip the second gel coat and just go straight to a thick coat. But for this one, I'm going to show you how it's much better to do a second gel coat before you go to the thicker coats. Now, because the underside is still visible, the actual piece that we're coating is still visible, we don't need to make to color the second coat, since we're still seeing what we're coating. Later on, when we're getting to the next coat after this, we might want to tint the silicone with some Sig Pig, which is just short for silicone pigment. This stuff is great and useful. All right, I'll get your part B going. And let's move this guy over. Now, layering it like this is where you're getting a benefit for using the minimum amount of material, silicone material. All right, let's get these two going. Alrighty. Mixing it well, scraping the sides, adding the bottom. Now these mixing cups, I got them from Amazon, but you can get mixing cups from the Dollar Tree, you know, or Dollarama, whatever your area calls that particular store. And these mixing sticks are just like these guys. I buy a big old package of them. And you can get different shapes and sizes of mixing sticks. Really cheap way, since they're very disposable and you don't want to be using these things over and over again. There we go, we're getting there. Alrighty. Okay. Ready to go. Now, this is the paintbrush from before. To say that the stuff's hardened inside of it, but it still will work. You can actually pull it apart, but it still will work for one more shot of this stuff, especially if you're still wanting to stipple a little bit. I'll start from the bottom again. All right, let's get this guy settled down. All right, let's hit the sides now. Anyways, now that we've got the second coating on, we wait. And be back in a while.